today we are with our friend Amie Tyler, and I've known Amie for years and have had the pleasure of working with her in many capacities, both professionally and personally. So Amie, welcome to the show today.
Hi, thank you.
Glad to have you.
Thank you.
So we are excited to hear about your origin story and what led you to teaching and the profession as it is today.
Okay, well, I started as a theater kid, thought I was on my way to New York, and that kind of didn't really pan out. I didn't end up going. I got into a school there and then didn't end up going. So I kind of had to figure out what else I was doing, and I, through some shows, just happened into a spot teaching kids theater. And I had someone I was with in the show, and he said, hey, I need you to go to the Arvada Center and go ahead and, take over this class for me. And so I did, and then I loved it. And so I kept doing it, and then I was involved in their summer theater program for younger kids. And I felt like so it's not just theater, which is kind of what I thought, that, oh, great, I'm just sharing my theater love with everybody. But then I started to realize, oh, it's kids. Like, I love teaching kids. I love being around kids. And so then I thought, well, all right, go back to school. So that kind of took that curve for me a little bit. And then I went back to school and kind of didn't love the teaching program there, and instead really liked the psychology program. And so I have my bachelor's in psychology. And then through that, though, you can do early childhood. And so I started working early childhood as I was in school and loved it. And then just realized, okay, that's what I'm going to do. So I did that for about 10 years, lots of different things. I really loved the 4-year-olds, so that like pre-K age. They just kind of got me.
Mm-hmm.
My humor.
They do that.
Yeah.
Those big eyes.
Yeah, really. They were great and just so eager, but also loved to have fun. And that's the balance that I still strive for in all of my classes now. So I did that for a while. Also was an assistant director, then had my own kids and wanted to stay home with them. So when my youngest was when my youngest was born, that's when I started staying home. And then when she got to kindergarten, then I was like, okay, I'm ready to go. And I knew that I wanted to then do, like public school. I just didn't know what age yet, but I knew that my time in preschool was done. You can only do that for so long, I think. There are lifers there, but for me, I needed a little more. I needed to see what else was kind of out there for it. And so I went back to school. So there I was, 40, going back, to sitting in class for the post-bac programs that they have. And so that's what I did. So when I finished getting the degree, then I was lucky enough to get a 5th grade job at the school where my kids were, which was important to me. I had tons of roots there. I was volunteering in the class. I was on the PTA. So it was great to get that experience. And I didn't quite know I had all this experience in preschool. And then I had experience because I also work in the district doing choreography for different high schools. And so I had this, I love all of the kids at these different ages. And so kind of didn't know where I was going to love it the best. And so 5th grade, even though that's the one I didn't have that early childhood experience, it actually was an easier fit than what I thought. So starting at that balance. And man, I loved 5th. I loved teaching 5th grade. The content was so fun. The fact that I could really dive into it. And, I taught like social studies through a Hamilton lens because that was really big right then.
Yeah.
And just having the freedom to think about the content in that way was just so cool. And writing, in a 5th grade level is just so different. And so anyway, I loved that. After that first year, we had some movement though in the school, and the principal and I talked about me going to kindergarten, which
big jump.
It was a big jump. It is a big jump. But knowing, I think if you didn't know that I came from, these 10 plus years in preschool, I think you would think like, ooh, how could a 5th grade teacher teach kindergarten? But actually it was a lot like going back home. Yeah. So I got back into the class and there's the easel right there as I walk in, and I thought, oh, I got this. I know exactly what to do here. And so while I loved both, just like I think it's also maybe rare that is a teacher that could also work with high school students, but then could work with the littlest.
Yeah.
There's just, I don't know, there's just something about young people that I love. I love connecting with those high school students in a different way. I'm not their teacher.
Yeah.
You know, I'm more of a mentor, or I'm more of a coach kind of, and that's different. Whereas being a kinder teacher, you know, you're it. Like you are the person. You are the teacher.
Also, the kinder teacher oftentimes is sort of that first parent connection. You're oftentimes a parent teacher as well about, you know, how school works nowadays. It looks so very different from when, you know, our parents went to kindergarten, and so there's a lot of work that kindergarten teachers do with families.
It's
too.
so true, and really becoming a mom really changed things for me. So when I was already a mom when I was teaching preschool, and then went kind of back into preschool at a different place, and I feel like I was already a good preschool teacher. You know, I feel like I was good, but being a mom just changed your perspective. And so then I started to think about not only what the kid needs when they're in my care right there, but also, you know, what their family would think, because then that's, you know, as a parent, like, you're always thinking of your kid. And so it just gave me that different perspective. And so honestly, I'm actually this year teaching first grade. So it's been 5 years that I spent in kinder and now teaching first grade. But as a kinder teacher, I loved taking those parents in. I loved talking to them and walking them through, okay, this is what it's like.
Leaving them at the door.
You know,
Trusting us
and
take their kids.
Yeah, walking through that. And I loved telling them, like, there are no dumb questions, because inevitably you have the parent that's like, I don't want to be that parent.
Yeah.
You know, please, thanks for answering my, 10 questions, but really it's because they love their kid. And so that's more important than anything else. And that I loved and take very seriously, even though I'm in first grade now, I still take very seriously that role of, you are their first experience in school, but you're also the parent's first experience in school too. And that's important.
Yeah.
It really sets the groundwork for the whole rest of their education.
And I think, I mean, like, we're going on, 10 years almost that we've known each other, and you worked with my high schoolers, and that your ability to connect relationship-wise with, I've seen you do it with the big kids and with your students now, and seeing how important those relationships are. Can you talk a little about how do you build relationships with all of those levels? Because you have that unique ability, I feel like, to do that.
Well, thank you.
So
Also love your kids. I mean, relationships are everything, right? And I'm sure every teacher who is worth their salt will sit in this chair and say it's all about relationships, because it is all about relationships. And I don't have like a formula, you know, for how I do that. I think that it really comes down to respect, and it's about listening to who they actually are. And so if you do that on any level, and you know, adults too, if you do that on any level, then that relationship is going to be established. And they will trust you and will do what you want them, and will, you know, seek your approval if you first show them that you really do love them and you really care about them, and not just like their education, because of course I hope every teacher cares about their education, but that you do care about them as a whole person. You know, you are interested in what Pokemon they love, and you are interested in if they, you know, want to go to Broadway for their career, and you know, that you just really take the time to hear what they have to say.
no matter how bad the joke is in kindergarten.
It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. You just find that humor anyway.
The knock-knock joke.
Yeah.
The knock-knock joke.
Yeah. And then I think too, I didn't realize this, I don't think, until I had several people point out to me the fact that I also tend to open myself up and share myself too. And so then they're really making that connection. And that's different kind of at the kinder level. Although I tell you what, you can ask some of my former students, and I guarantee you they will paint a perfect picture of me, because they listen and they know, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Mrs. Tyler. And sometimes I'll get these you know, emails about, so for Christmas, they really want to get you this pink glitter cup. And I feel like you wouldn't really like it. And I'll text, No, they're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
I'm the glitter queen.
I would love that,
Yeah.
and please do send it to me, right? Like they really do know. They really do know me, and I guess now I realize after having someone say over and over, this is why,
Yeah.
because I really do. I just try to be my most authentic, weird, self, and I just try to bring that to every relationship
Yeah.
that I have.
Thank you, Amie, for sharing your origin story with us. So we're looking forward to sharing more with Amie on the next episode of Teachers Talking Teaching.